Welcome back to the DJ Sessions, where we feature the best DJs and producers from around the world. I'm your host, Darren, and right now I'm in the virtual studios in Seattle, Washington, and coming to us all the way on the other half of the North American continent in New York City, the city of Brooklyn, New York. We have Patricia Baloge. I hope I got that right.
You got that right.
Awesome. So, Patricia, thank you so much for joining us today. It's a pleasure to have you on the show. And, starting out with things, you're not from Brooklyn, New York. You were actually born in Ghana and raised in the south of France. What made your migration to the United States? Why the United States? Why not stay in Europe as a electronic music or a performing artist?
I didn't come to America to do music. I came initially to study. And why America? I just wanted to go as far as possible. I didn't want to go to London because it was too close to home. I could run home anytime. So I decided to come to New York, where I would be forced to face myself. Let's say if I was too close to home, I'll just leave anytime anything gets difficult. So I wanted to come on an adventure. And the idea was to go as far as possible. And New York was such a great city. I was studying fashion and international business at the time. So I thought, why not New York? It's such a great place for fashion. And then I stayed.
Yeah, and you chose Brooklyn, New York. And it was one of your places.
I didn't choose Brooklyn.
It wasn't Brooklyn.
New Yorkers move all the time. Like I've lived in Manhattan, I've lived in Brooklyn. I might go back to Manhattan. So Brooklyn is just one choice of the moment, but it changes all the time. Yeah.
I recently had the chance to visit Brooklyn, New York last year for my birthday. And one of our resident DJs was opening for Lane 8 and La Youth at the Brooklyn Mirage. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure you've been to that nightclub.
Yes.
And I just got to say that after going to that nightclub, it kind of just changed my perspective on nightclubs as a whole. And what I now deem as a nightclub or almost a venue. I mean, this is one of the most awesome venues I've ever seen. And I was just wondering, do you get a chance to frequently visit the Brooklyn Mirage, or is it somewhere you aspire to play to in the future?
I have aspired to play at the Brooklyn Mirage in the future. I haven't got to that yet. It's weird that we're having this interview, but this year I've kind of decided that I'll take a break with DJing. That's weird. I want to focus on my performances. I want to focus on singing my songs and being behind the mic and hearing my own tracks playing and just moving like myself. But maybe when I get back to DJing, yes, that could be something that I want to do.
And has that transition, I mean, did you start out as a performing artist and then got into DJing, or was it you were into DJing and then got into performing artist?
I wanted to sing. So that's it. I was not into the music scene, and I wanted to become a singer, and I did not know how to do that. I didn't know anybody in the scene. I didn't know how to get into the scene. And I met somebody who told me he was a DJ, and he was like, I can teach you how to DJ, and then maybe through DJing you can find your footing, which I did, and I absolutely loved DJing. So I kind of started making music on the side and DJing, and kind of got lost into the DJing because I was like, oh my God, I like this so much. Maybe I can just do that. And not so long ago, it just dawned on me that, girl, you started DJing because you wanted something. And along the way, sometimes you're going somewhere and you meet somebody and you stop along the way. That's what kind of happened to me. But I don't want to forget my dream, which is to sing and to be myself behind my own tracks. So, yeah.
And
So that's what happened.
is your DJing, is your genre of music that you were playing when you were DJing the house Afrobeat? Is that still the same kind of genre you would go to perform onto as well and keep it in that genre, or would you perform to a different genre?
I would mix that genre, but with my own style, which I don't know exactly what it is. It's a mix of alternative, Afro pop, and then some Afro house into it. I love house music. I think house music is so diverse. It has so many different genres in one. That's what makes it so international. Everybody can enjoy house music. So everything in house music can be found in my music. But I would definitely be adding more. Yes.
Awesome. And recently you had a track come out, Holy Trinity, and it's been remixed a few different times. Tell our DJ Sessions viewers, for those who don't know, about that track and what that track means to you and who you've worked with on that track.
Okay, so Holy Trinity was remixed by Amir Talem. So what was the question? Sorry.
So it basically was, I saw that was one of your latest releases that you had, and it had been remixed a couple times, I believe, correct?
Yeah, so it was remixed by Amir Telem, and then also by Jordi Ivan, who is also a DJ from New York. So I just hit them up and asked them if they wanted to remix it, and they were up for it, and it's great.
That's always nice to have collaborations and work with people. I often say this to people in interviews. That I hear a current trend that, and it's kind of a quote that I use: "You miss 100% of the shots you never take." So if you never ask, the answer is always going to be no. And until you ask, knock on those doors, network, talk with people. It's a common trend that you just never know who's going to say yes, or you might hit them at the right time, and that might lead to a wonderful partnership or friendship or business collaboration down the line. So congratulations on working with them on that. Yeah, if you could describe your music, though, your music that you make in 3 words, what would you call it?
Afro, deep. The third word is a little weird. Afro, deep, groovy.
Afro, deep, groovy. I like that. That's like, to me, the embodiment of house, but you have Afro, deep, groove. It's like all in there. And if you had to pick one of your productions as one of your most favorite ones, which one would that be and why?
Reborn.
Yeah. Why Reborn?
Because it's just the embodiment of everything that I wanted to say within my Womb project. This track said everything all in one. The project was about rebirth. It was about me finding myself, and it's the first track I also produced when I decided to produce this EP.
Nice. And switching gears just a little bit, music to fashion. Is fashion a main part of your persona, or is it just an accessory?
I think fashion is it's not the main, but it's as important as the music itself.
And do a lot of the things that you wear, are these your own creations, or are you working with designers?
Clothes.
What?
I don't make clothes. I choose my clothes. No, I choose my clothes, but I don't work with designers in particular. I just like to choose clothes. I think that your image is as important as your music, because people want an image to attach to. And when I have a vision of my music, of me performing, I have an image of the way I'm dressed, the way my makeup look, the way I'm moving. So all of that is a part of the whole act. I think that musicians sell vision, and the vision is also the image as much as the music. If you have the music, but you don't have a video or you don't have an image of the artist, then it doesn't stay in your psyche the same way it would stay if you have that.
I think that is a testament to how video killed the radio star.
Sorry.
It's like you just summed it up right there. Before you just had the audio you would listen to until the image started being played with that, and the video became, what do they look like? What do they sound like? And that act became part of the entire package that you were expecting to see. And I'm a huge video guy, obviously. I've been playing with it for the last 40 years of my life. So I just like to see where new technologies are going with it as well. Have you looked to doing anything with virtual reality or augmented reality?
No, not yet. Not yet at all. I'm still very intrigued. I'm still learning about it. I'm learning about NFTs right now. I'm seeing how art is made around there. I'm still learning. I think we all in the beginning, we are learning. I'm a little bit afraid as well because it's such a new world, and I'm just wondering how it's going to change everything. It's going to change our perception of the world in such a tremendous way, and it's a bit scary. It's a bit scary to me, but once we're in, I guess I'll have fun with it.
I mean, it could be really awesome. Like, you could be doing a show. This is probably a few years in the future, but you could be doing a show and you could have AR outfits and people could change the outfit that you're wearing on the stage, but they'd be custom designed by you.
Yes, but imagine that people are not used to that. Now, will they value reality as the same way as they value the virtual reality? That's what scares me a little bit.
Correct.
Yeah.
Well, I was curious, coming back to a more static kind of question, who does your photography?
Many people. So for now, right now, I was working with this company called Lomi. There are two girls who do a great job. Yeah, they're from New York.
You have a lot of great pictures up there. And I'm like, there is no way Patricia could be dressing up, doing all this, and then doing selfies on her phone or something. She has to be working with some top people. And I recently am going through a whole makeover, hiring a photographer to come in and redo us for all our press and all that fun stuff. And it's a interesting process being on that side of the camera, because I mean, I'm in front of the camera right now, but I've never, all dressed up, looking cool, looking fashionable in front of the camera. So I'm really excited to do that. And it's good to have a good team. A question. Do you become a different person when you're on stage, or a different person when you come off stage? Is there a character you put on, like a performance character, and then off stage you're like, nope, that's my performance? Do you separate the two, or are they one and the same?
That's a very funny question. I'm still figuring out. There's somebody who is me, but it's a part of me that the world does not know. It's I feel like it's a hidden part of me, a part of me that I've been not trying to hide, but not necessarily show to the world. I don't know, maybe because of fear. We all have fear since we're a little child. And I feel like when I start performing my songs, she comes out. And it's only when I perform my songs, though, not when I DJ. And that's the ultimate freedom. I don't know if it's an alter ego. They call it the alter ego. But the alter ego would be maybe somebody different, another entity. I think it's me. It's a part of me, but it's just a part of me that the world doesn't know. And yeah, but it can be a little, I wouldn't say hard, but then you come out and you're like, am I that person? Or am I only her when I'm performing my song? So you don't know if you have to merge with her in real life as well, or if you have to leave her for the stage. And that is the daunting part. Yeah.
I used to, in the early days when I would do my pre-interview warm-ups with people, I used to be very soft-spoken and, okay, we're going to be like this, and the interview is going to be very simple. And when it goes 5, 4, 3, and I click on, and you would see them almost like you'd see them off camera. I'd see this all the time, and they perk up and be like, "Wait a second, he's gotten professional on me. What's going on here?" And me being, I kind of am always on like that now to perform, to network. Here I am. But when I'm off, I'm kind of, like I said in the preview, I'm kicking back, I'm lounging, I'm sitting on the couch eating junk food, watching TV. But they still are the same person. It's just when you do get on stage, you do have to brighten that experience up, I guess. And sometimes you're right. Is it an alter ego that's coming out, or is it your real persona that's coming out? And I think sometimes over time, which one can overcome and overtake the other one,
I think my feeling is that the aim is to merge the two.
Mm-hmm.
That's how I feel. I feel like once you're able to merge both, then you really have accomplished the mission. That's in my mind. Yeah. Well, that's it.
And in between performances, in between your downtime, what do you do in the days when you're not performing? Is it a lot of time in the studio? You said you were going to school. What do you do in your downtime to help you decompress from a performance?
I have a jewelry brand, Studio Baloge. So I work on that, and I make music. I make music. That's what I do. I don't like to decompress from it because I like it. There was a time where I didn't know I could do it. There was a time I thought I could never do it. So to me, it's fun to, like, you have the performing part, but you also have the time where you sit in front of a computer and you play around with sounds and you write songs. And, I collaborate with writers, and I have a melody in mind because I love creating melodies and I don't know what to do with it. So I send it to writers and I'm like, can you write to this? It's just like such a fun experience. And there's so many aspects to it that it doesn't feel like it's not work. It's really fun to me. So yeah, I do.
Awesome. And who would you say has been the biggest influence when it comes to your career as an artist, and why?
That is one hard question. It is a really hard question for me, but I have a few. I keep bringing up her name, and it's Christine and the Queens. Have you heard of her?
I haven't. I heard of
her. She's a French singer. She sings in French and English. And I don't know. Since I discovered her in 2014 or 2015 with her first track, Tilted. And I just fell in love with her artistry, the way she moves, the way she makes music. She's also a producer. And I like her transformation. I think transformation is what fascinates me the most when it comes to artists. I like seeing an artist being off stage, all calm, and then they get on stage and you see a completely different person. It challenges the mind of the people who are watching. And that's what I felt when I saw her. And I felt a connection. I felt like maybe what's in her could be in me too. So it really pushed me to go for it, watching her. Yeah. Also, who else? There's this South African, Brenda Fassi. She is a South African lead singer. She died in 2004, but she was the queen of the pop in Africa for a very long time, in the 80s. And I heard her music in the early 2000s. I was a kid, and it just stuck with me. She's incredible. Yeah.
And has there, as far as a producer goes, if you could aspire to say a producer that really influences you, who would that be?
That's hard. There's one that I really loved. I still enjoy his production. It's Hyena. He does Afrohouse. Okay. I discovered his music about maybe 4 or 5 years ago. I was insanely surprised by his music because he just doesn't follow rules. He doesn't follow rules. So when I heard his song, I was like, oh my God, we can make sound like that. Like I would make a sound like that and I would think that it's not finished. And I'll try to finish it, but he thinks it's not. And I think that's genius. I think that's freedom. And I like that. There's one also, Jamie Won, who's from the UK, who I absolutely love. His musicality is just incredible. But he's not big. He's not very huge, but it's incredible how many great musicians you have that are not well known, but they're incredible.
Yeah, I mean, the list goes on. And with the advent of technology, you know, people getting into the industry it's been easier than ever to get in and start doing something. Even if it's just playing around. I mean, I could get in there and start making music. Am I going to go release tracks and find production? Probably not. But, you know, just the ease of access of being able to compose. I mean, I remember when I was working for Apple and, you know, GarageBand had come out and, you know, it wasn't Logic, which is this huge program, you know, you got to deal with and figure out. But GarageBand, you could start making these simple soundtracks for your movies that you would put into iMovie. And you know, it was just really awesome seeing it get. I mean, I started playing with Fruity Loops back in 2000. And my friend, we're in the hotel in Vegas, and he's getting into production, and he's like, "Show me the pro." He goes, "Let me listen to this song I got for you, Darren." So I'm listening, and I go, "What program that's in?" And he's like, "Oh, it's in FL something." And I go, "FL, And he goes, "Fruity Loops, Darren." I go, "That's still around?" I mean, you know, just the opportunity to move from analog to digital has been a huge change in the industry, I think. Although a lot of people still do like that analog sound. And do you prefer hardware or are you more software based?
I'm software based. I use Logic a lot. Logic. Yeah.
I'm an Apple guy through and through, and I always loved I call it the cleanliness of that program, but it's probably because I was a certified trainer on how to train people on how to use it. Not produce, okay. Just to use it. Like, here's how you go and do this. It was a long time ago in the old days. But I just love the ease and flow of Logic and what it had in there. Moving back to kind of some business talking about you, what has been your best business decision in favor of your artist career that you've ever made?
I think it's one that I'm making now. It's to choose between DJing and performing. Mm-hmm. And, that's the best decision I can make. I think time is a hot commodity. We don't have a lot of time, although we like to think we do. So sometimes you have to make a choice. Regardless of how much you like two things, it's good to focus on one and hope for the best.
I was just talking with a friend of mine today about what I call reciprocal energy and making sure that you're making the right choices. So you're in a position where you're getting energy. You're not having energy taken away from you. Or if you are having energy taken away from you, you can make up for it somewhere else, but things should not be life draining. They should be life fulfilling and going after what you want to do rather than going down one direction and then realize that, I just wasted 5 years or 6 or 10 years. I could have been doing that and then have to start from the beginning rather than following your passions in the beginning, you know, and sticking with your passions is something that just is a huge motivator for myself. And when I see other people doing that as well, and they understand that drive, because a lot of people say, how do you become successful? Stop doing things you don't like doing, you know, find the things you like doing and then go after those. And, you know, that's a huge direction. I can totally understand that. And are you currently signed with a record label right now?
No, I'm independent for now.
Okay. What do you think one of the most important things that a record label should do for their artists?
I don't know.
Because have you been approached by any that have said?
No, I haven't. My idea was to go solo. Because I didn't want to be controlled. So that was the idea, at least for in the beginning. Mm-hmm. I think a record label is there to push the artist, to help them promote their artistry. What they should be doing for the artist, I think the artist should be doing most of it. I think that the artists should be figuring out what image they want. They should be figuring out what the message is. I don't think anybody should come from outside and tell me what to do. So I don't think I would rely on a record label to do more than just promote my music and make sure I go as far as possible in that realm. So marketing will be the answer, I guess.
Yeah. And a lot of artists are now able to, like I said, get started in music production, but also create their own label. And you're right, control their own outlet, their own medium, and the rights to what they're creating as well. Exactly. Which brings me to a very important conversation that you mentioned a little bit about this earlier on, NFTs, and diving into the world of NFTs and what that can do, what we're just starting to see skim the surface as you know, you start your own label, you're your own musician, you're your own brand, you can create these NFTs and then sell these NFTs, and then they're out there on the marketplace, and you can keep earning residual income on them over and over and over and over and over and over again forever. So it kind of gives control back to the artist, really puts it in their hands, you know, which is kind of an awesome thing to do. And even if you say, oh, you release this one, here's an exclusive remix NFT style, and those exist out there, which is just awesome, and everything that can go along with that. We're looking to explore NFTs as well for our brand. And I think that's kind of the buzzword of 2022. And we're going to see what happens as things roll out in that realm. I always ask independent producers if they're looking at doing stuff with NFTs. It sounds like your research, just like all of us, we're kind of navigating like where this is going to go. But very exciting for that. But marketing, I took away that the biggest thing you think a label could do for somebody is marketing and not telling them what to do. That makes sense.
Yeah, I think we have to do the work. It's our job. And
And this falls right into my next, that was brilliant because your answer falls right into my next question. What measures do you take to actively promote yourself, your releases, and your career?
Okay, so I work with people. I have PR, I have management. I also use promotion tools for Spotify and other music platforms. A
lot of artists. The reason why I asked that question is a lot of artists, they think, oh, I make a track, I put it out there, and they're done. It's like, no, there's a lot of behind the scenes stuff that you really have to do. You have to make sure you're active on your socials, make sure you're building that, make sure you got press, make sure you're talking to other people, make sure you're networking. You said PR, management. Do you have a booking agent?
Not yet. Yeah.
Not yet. So, but all these things,
that's something that you need.
Well. You know, but it's all about building your brand and being I hate to say it, almost you are a product, but you are a human being as well. And, you know, no matter what, every product needs a team to help sell it, whether you're selling oranges or computers or NFTs, you got to have somebody promoting this. So
that is the hard part, you know, the fact that you are a product. So sometimes it's hard to differentiate between you being a business that is outside of yourself and you. But as artists, we are the business, and it can take some time. Like it took me some time to realize that I was a business and that I had to conduct myself like a business. And once you get a hang of it, I think things start going for you. You start to understand that.
I used to call it for many years, up until about 2018, when we've been doing our show for years. I always said I'm too close to the project because I'm doing everything myself. And it's just something as simple as I could write a press release, but if I have somebody else write a press release with some bullet points, it comes off in a completely different way. Because I'm going to write with my experience and my knowledge and my passion in there. And while I know it all, it's still, it hits too close to home. And what I might read, I'm going to say, that sounds like $1 million. But it may not work with everyone else. I feel great about it, but not everyone else might. So and a friend of mine said to me recently, says, Darren, take that hat off. You can take the hat off and let somebody else do it. Let them do it. You know, you're hiring them, and there are other people. You don't have to go with the first person you meet, but get that in and take that off your plate to let you get to doing what you do best. But it is a learning experience. So
it definitely is. And we learn every day. You can be in it for 10 years and you keep learning. Yeah, it's also a human experience because you're working with people. And you have to have a connection. They have to be connected to your music. They have to understand what you're trying to express. They may have to agree with what you're trying to express. If they don't like what you do, then maybe it's not the right, they're not the right people for you. So you have to really find your way and find the right people you can trust and work with. It takes time.
Yeah. And the other fascinating thing is, like, I was on a phone conversation with somebody the other day, networking, talking. Had I not gotten the conversation with them, I wouldn't have found out that they were working on a new software program for booking software that is going to kind of just change the industry. And that I would have heard about that. And what information you can find out just by talking with people and finding out what they're interested in, what they're doing. Again, going back to simple networking. And they might say, you know what, I know somebody who that knows this and over here. And this networking, I think, is a huge one. Question about success. How would you define success as a performing artist / DJ? I'm going to put the DJ down here, but as a performing artist, how would you define success? A top 10 Beatport hit, sold out tour? What are your thoughts on that? Sold out tour?
Yeah, I think tour. To me, it will be touring. To me, it will be that. And why? It's because I would get to be doing what I love. That's all. Just do what I love and then, make money out of it.
You got it. People got to understand this is a business. And, some people say it's never about the money. It shouldn't be at the money. But when you're running a business, you have a bottom line. You have expenses and you have to have income to cover those expenses. Otherwise you're really not running a business in that sense of, in the traditional sense of business.
Yeah. Music is fun, but it's also an expensive thing to do. When you release music, you have to pay to release music. It's not, some people do that. They just release music on, Beatport or whatever platform, but it sits there. If you want your music to be heard, you have to pay for it to be heard. So in order to pay, you need to spend some money, and you need to make money if you're making music. Yeah.
There's a friend of mine that I'm with on Facebook, and he's very direct and very honest about the music industry. To where he will literally tell you to your face, like, oh, wow, you're a hip hop artist. You make these videos, you show all this money, you talk about all this money you got, but you spend no money on promo. You spend no money on management. You spend no money on mastering. So where do you think you're going to go? You talk a good game, but you're really not going anywhere. And then you complain that you're not going anywhere in the industry because you're not spending any money to put in the right direction. And it doesn't really take that much. I mean, yeah, if I had $1 million and I wanted to go invest it and make myself an artist, I could make myself $1 million artist. Mm-hmm. But what does that mean? Did I just pay to play, and did I pay to get into the game, or did I use that $1 million? Could I use the $100,000 and got the same success, rather than just trying to buy my way in? But either way, it's not even buying your way in. You still have to pay for studio time. Yeah. You got to pay. If you want a musician to come in, a collaboration, somebody says, hey, I can come in. But that's sort of the thing that it kind of it doesn't get talked about too much in the forefront. Like, what's the real cost of being a producer? Because a DJ, while a DJ spends money on the gear and they got to buy the tracks, they're not producing those beats. So you could have 15,000 songs in your DJ library, but you didn't make one of them. But every one of those 15,000 artists, they made those tracks. They had to pay, they had to put all the work in for you to then buy and put them on that drive to go play. So I think there is a difference between performing artists in that sense, between DJ and performing artists. They're both performance artists, but the work that goes in just to get one song right, and you may make 60 songs, 100 songs, 1,000 songs before just one of them hits. Hopefully it's not 1,000. Hopefully you're making good songs and getting it out there.
Yeah. You have to make good music.
You have to make good. You have to make
good. What you do. I think that's the most important, actually. Believing in what you do, like making something that really feels like you. Not trying to do what anybody else is doing, but just do what feels like you. And if you do that, I know somebody's gonna like what you do. It's just staying true to yourself. And yes, the investment is bigger when you produce, or you make your own sound, and then you have to market it and you have to do all that stuff, music video, whatever. It's an investment. It's you investing in your own growth, which is good.
Well, I know that we have a special treat for our DJ Sessions fans out there. We have an exclusive mix from you that was done. Where was that filmed at, by the way?
It was filmed at the Rolling Studio in Brooklyn.
The Rolling Studio in Brooklyn. Well, it looks like a great production. I've listened to it a few times, but we're going to be getting this out there exclusively for our DJ Sessions fans here in the short near future. Patricia, thank you so much for coming on the DJ Sessions. Is there anything you want to let our DJ Sessions fans know about before we let you get back to doing what you do?
I'm working on my next project, which is called Victory. It's a 4-track EP, and it's going to have a visual EP. So that's what we're working on.
Describe the visual EP. Is that like you're gonna have a video mix that goes along with it, or?
Yeah, so it's kind of like a film of the 4 tracks. So it's going to be 10 minutes, and each video or each part will be 1 track. So it's going to be like 4-track mixed together, and each story will be different. Like it's kind of like Beyonce visual EP, like a few years ago, what she did.
Yeah, I'd love to see that when that comes out. Definitely let us know. We'd love to share that with our DJ Sessions fans. And where can people find out more information about you?
Instagram.
The Insta.
I'm addicted to Instagram. That's where you find everything about me. Everything that I want to show, you will see on Instagram.
I'm a huge fan of the Insta. I recently just got into TikTok a little bit. That cracks me up. I mean, I see the funniest stuff on there, and then I make some of the stupidest, funniest stuff. I do a lot of cooking. I'm a big foodie. So right now on my DJ Sessions page on TikTok, you're going to see more food pics than you will DJ session stuff. But it's a holler. It's social media has gotten way beyond what it was with MySpace and Facebook. I think people are moving to the Instagram and moving to the TikToks. Start reaching out there. But again, thank you so much. What is your official Instagram? Is just your first last name?
Yeah, Patricia Baloge.
Baloge. All right. Awesome. Well, Patricia, thank you so much for coming on the show today. We really appreciate it. We'll talk with you in the near future here.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Bye-bye.
Yeah. And don't forget to go to our website, thedjsessions.com. Find us on Facebook. Find us on Twitter. Find us on Instagram. Find us on TikTok, The DJ Sessions. This is Darren and Patricia coming all the way in from New York City for the virtual sessions. And don't forget, on the DJ Sessions, the music never stops.